Happy Monday, guys. I'm here to deliver really good news. I heard this news actually, I think it was Saturday, but I didn't want to make a video on it until today on Monday. We start off the new week because, guys, I'm really excited for this 2025 console game now. This is the best news I have seen from it since it's been announced. Like, we didn't know anything about it, and I was like, man, I know it's gonna be like NASCAR Heat 5 most likely, because Monster Games is going to develop the game, and they're gonna use Unity engine, and that's how it's going to be, and that's what I was assuming was going to happen. I was really excited for iRacing to take control, but I was like, I feel like they're gonna be held back because of that game engine. Well, Matt Weaver came out with an article the other day, and one of you guys sent it to me on Twitter, and my excitement for this game is now through the roof. I am through the roof, into the sky, into the galaxy universe, onto the moon, and headed towards Saturn, and then headed towards a different freaking galaxy. Like, I'm gonna leave. What galaxy are we in? The Milky Way galaxy. I'm gonna leave that, and you can tell my education levels now are deplenishing. I'm gonna leave this galaxy and go to another galaxy. That's how through the galaxy moon I am. That it seems like iRacing will not be using the Unity engine. And I cannot be any happier with this news. If this is actually true, I'm absolutely just 100% through the moon. I will explain to you guys why in this video. I want to give a shout out to the Patreon members first, as always, for supporting the channel and allowing me to do this as much as I can. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already, and watch the live streams. We kind of have a set schedule now: Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturday nights. Since if it's not Saturday night, then it's Friday night or Sunday night, but usually Saturday nights. So that's what we're doing on the channel. Let's get into it. And the big news is, guys, iRacing not using the Unity engine, according to their president. So let's go. All right, so here we are on Sportsnaut. I did not know what Sportsnaut is. This is my first time knowing this website. I did not know that Matt Weaver right here is actually on Sportsnaut. I did not know that. I've been following Matt for, I don't know, 12 years. I mean, I don't even know how long it's been. I've been following this guy on Twitter for super long. iRacing aims to deliver immersive and consumable NASCAR console experience. Shout out to Sportsnaut because I like the recommended for me page. Ryan Blaney, critical of hack Denny Hamlin's slide jobs at Homestead. And then for the recommended, they want me to do NFL QB rankings. Don't call Christopher Bell NASCAR's closer, but he is clutch. And Ryan Blaney disqualified after the Las Vegas NASCAR race. I don't think that is true anymore. Yep. I do also one more thing. Steve Myers is not the president. He's the executive vice president. President, executive vice president. You're still a man of importance. Okay, it is what it is. I gotta get the title right. But let's read through Matt's article. We'll break it down and get to the main points that are in the middle article. When iRacing says we hear you, the message has historically been delivered in the form of new products, updates, generating a tremendous amount of goodwill towards the developer now that has been tasked with building NASCAR's next console game. I don't think personally iRacing's a developer, but they do make racing. They make iRacing, which is a game, but like a live service. I guess they're a developer. But I look at, when it comes to the console game side of things, in terms of like actually like a NASCAR console game, I view iRacing as a publisher, not technically a developer, but we will see. It's like minute details, whatever it is. The past decade has been a complicated one for NASCAR gaming landscape. Yes, it has. That isn't to say that recent offerings have been bad. There's just been a lot left on the table regarding both hardcore and casual fans what they want from a console game. Specifically, the general consensus is that the genre has taken a step back from the 2000s when EA Sports, Monster Games, and Pirates are each pumping out what is still considered the gold standard of the genre, and that is true. But to be fair, for a lot of sports games, I think early to mid 2000s was the gold standard for kind of all of them. Like, we think of, except I guess basketball, NBA 2K kind of peaked around 2K11, so that was like late, early 2010s. But for football games, both collegiate and Madden, that's kind of like where it got really good as well, which again, EA. Basically, EA Sports was actually a good company back in the early and mid 2000s. They weren't money hungry. It wasn't, insane like that. They were actually making good games. So that's just, it's kind of like when EA Sports went the bad direction, that's when most of the sports games went the bad direction, because EA Sports had a lot of the licenses. So for EA, they had NASCAR Thunder. For Monster Games, they had Dirt to Daytona and NASCAR Heat. And for Papyrus, they had NR 2003, but also NR 2002 and NASCAR Racing and NASCAR Racing 2, 3, 4, 5, all those. So they were prominent games. But I never played the Papyrus games as a kid because I did not have a PC. So I only played console. I didn't even know about NASCAR Racing 2003 when it came out, or even probably 3 years after it came out. I had no idea about it because I was playing, obviously, when I was a kid, the EA Sports games. And I did have NASCAR Heat as well. I view NASCAR Heat and Dirt to Daytona like a level below the Thunder games, but that's just my opinion. So if there's anyone who knows historically, holistically, is that a miss typo? Is that a typo, Matt? Who knows holistically, or is it historically? Is holistically a word? Hold on, I want to see something. Holistically, yeah, that is a word. Wait, so does Matt mean historically or holistically? Maybe he means holistically. Oh wow, I'm confused. I think that's not a typo. Holistic, interchanging, the intertwining of history and stuff between NASCAR fans. Matt, you got me there. That's amazing English. What NASCAR fans want out of a video game? It would be Steve Myers, the executive vice president of iRacing. He was with Papyrus back in the day. Myers has been in the NASCAR game business since the early 2000s, first on the development team behind the fondly remembered Papyrus. It's not fondly remembered. Papyrus is iRacing. It's we don't gotta think like they all died. I mean, like, literally, Papyrus is iRacing. They are the same. Like, there are still, I would hope that there's still a lot of people from the early Papyrus days that are still around with iRacing today. NASCAR Racing PC Games and then iRacing, which formed from its assets. Which, again, it wasn't formed from its assets. It is. Papyrus is iRacing. iRacing is Papyrus. We could say they're the same. It's okay. The most beloved entry in that series, NASCAR Racing 2003, still has a cult following to this day, thanks to the never-ending series of modifications that use extremely realistic base code, offering the most immersive motorsport experience at the time. That's true. As a result, Myers and iRacing CEO David Kamer are viewed as the chief architects of modern motorsports gaming, and a group that has been challenged to create a NASCAR console release by 2025. iRacing acquired the license through a series of circumstances, first purchasing Monster Games in 2022, and then purchasing the rights to the NASCAR license from Motorsport Games a year later. It was an outcome Myers said the company has always wanted to pursue. And yep, that purchase of Monster Games was a big deal because you could see iRacing eyeing it up, right? Like, now, in hindsight, we didn't know what would happen with the Motorsport Games license, but in hindsight, when you look at it, you saw iRacing just position themselves. They were like, all right, we're going to be there. And if something happens, we'll be there no matter what to take advantage of that and hop in, because that is what, that's just one of the big things that they want. In my opinion, iRacing's biggest asset on even iRacing is NASCAR, but I don't want to say that's true because I know there are so many IMSA fans and so many open wheel fans and so many iRacing has everything, right? So I don't want to say it's like the biggest, but NASCAR is huge for iRacing, even though the NASCAR next gen on iRacing is broken right now. Like, if you were to drive Le Mans or stuff like that on iRacing, it's really realistic. But for NASCAR, it is not realistic. The oval racing is just not realistic at all. So hopefully they can fix that. But obviously, in terms of popularity, their NASCAR stuff is extremely, extremely popular. They have everything from ARCA to dirt to, local stuff. They have everything. So it's obviously, a huge deal. So that's why it's not a surprise that they wanted to go after NASCAR. And IndyCar, unfortunately, is kind of like suffering, but we'll see. IndyCar fans, hold on. We'll just see. I still that game that Motorsport Games is making for IndyCar has to come out. It's way too far ahead. So I want to see if that does eventually come out. Broadly, Myers said he knows NASCAR fans want an immersive experience in the form of a career mode that allows players to create their driver and forge a path toward the Cup Series. It's basically the Dirt to Daytona concept authored by Monster Games 2002. And like I said, this is what I think iRacing is going to eventually go to if you don't see Dirt. And I've said this multiple times. I don't want to rehash everything, but if you don't see dirt in the game, it'll be a massive surprise. I think people want a compelling experience, something that makes them feel like they're doing this thing they love. I think they want a fun experience in the sense that they want features and content inside the game that go beyond the Cup Series, other areas of the sport, be it in grassroots, and then trucks and Xfinity. Again, there to Daytona. I think one of the things we want to be clear is like everything is going to be a progression. That is true. I also want to be a team owner as well. But again, we'll talk about that later in this article. This will all make sense. On one hand, 2025 seems far away, but Meyer says there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done to create the kind of products he says will match industry expectations, but also their own. For example, this is the big one. For example, the Monster Games code base was built upon the Unity engine. But Myers says iRacing is going to go a different direction. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Beautiful. Let's vamos. Vamos, carajo, Steve Myers. If you don't speak Spanish, that means let's effing go. Woo! All right, what does that mean? What does that mean? That was not an overreaction. That's genuinely my honest reaction to that. I'm telling you, I've been keeping it in to hold this information. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this article, but I've been like keeping this in, you know, this excitement inside of me for basically 3 days. That's really what we've been doing right now is kind of more technology assessment. And this is what a lot of major developers do now is like, you know, Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog have been working on their tech. When was Last of Us Part 2 come out? Last of Us Part 2 came out in what, 2019? I don't even remember when that game came out anymore. But yeah, it's been like what, 3 years, 4 years since they've released it. They constantly just work on the tech, the game engine and stuff like that. That's really what we've been doing right now is getting more of a technology assessment to get the code base to a place where we can make a AAA title like a NASCAR game. AAA is a gaming jargon for multi-year projects with industry-leading budgets. So again, I think that what people can expect is that we're going to deliver a finished product. Meyer said it's not going to be incomplete. It's going to have those things that people want, but there's going to be a first step and then follow-ups behind that.
I need that. We need that.
What does that mean? Guys, this is what I've been telling you since the beginning. It's not going to be incomplete. It's going to have those things that people want, but there's going to be a first step. What is the first step? The first step is the foundation of the game. The driving of the game, the AI of the game, the things you take for granted. Like if I ask you, what do you want in a console game? You're going to say career mode. You're going to say team owner mode. You're going to say paint booth. All these things are desserts. They're all features. But all those features have to revolve around the foundation of the game. The follow-ups beyond that is why I keep telling you guys, I don't think the first game is going to have a lot of detail. Will it have a career mode? Yes. I'm not saying it's not going to have a career mode. But, and my voice just like went right there. But it's not going to be as detailed as you want because they need to get the first step. The AI, the foundation. We just went through this with NASCAR 21 Ignition. They didn't have the foundation. They kind of had the driving physics, right? But the bugs, the AI, the everything else, right? It was not there. That's all part of the foundation. iRacing needs to work on this foundation, but let's not skip over this part, okay? This right here is the most important part of this article. And it's very interesting to see what iRacing is going to do. Now, there are companies that have their own game engine, but every company that has their own game engine is usually using a game engine and then changing it and then creating their own game engine. So what will iRacing and Monster Games use if it's not going to be Unity? Monster Games, since the beginning, have used Unity. That is what they are used to. So what are they going to do in terms of the code, in terms of the game engine? Are they just going to use another game engine? Again, the obvious one is Unreal. Everybody uses Unreal Engine, but even with Unreal Engine, the games can feel now very familiar. If I go play Hot Wheels Unleashed, and then I go play Ride 5, which are two completely... No, they're the same developer, actually, right? Yeah, same developer. Hold on. Different example. If the game I was playing this past day, Overpass 2, right, from Nacon, it's kind of not the biggest developers. They use Unreal Engine, and then Ride 5 and Hot Wheels Unleashed also use Unreal Engine. It's two completely different developers, but you can see the familiarity because Unreal Engine, there's only so much you can do with it, right? Like each game is going to feel familiar. and it's going to look familiar because it's using a lot of the same assets from that game engine. Now, what is iRacing going to do? Are they going to start off with a base of Unity engine and then switch a lot of things around it and try to create their own game engine? This is kind of what Codemasters does. Codemasters have their own game engine that they constantly tweak, right? Forza have their own, and Turn 10 have their own game engine. Gran Turismo have their own game engine. For example, Guerrilla as well, who make Horizon Zero Dawn and all those games, they also have their own game engine. So one of the biggest budget issues for gaming developers is the game engine. And one of the most expensive things is the game engine. Like Naughty Dog and for PlayStation, right? That game engine is one of the most expensive game engines you will ever see, and they constantly are working on it to the point that they can't even freaking release games anymore. They've released one game in the last almost 8 years. Last of Us Part 2. One game. So like these things take a lot of time nowadays, and they're super expensive. And so what is iRacing going to do with that? What will their game engine be? But the best news about all this is that it's not Unity. That's the best news. Because my whole fear, slightly, was that it's just going to be like NASCAR Heat 5. That was my fear. It's going to be a better version of it, but it's going to be... Now, nope. Completely different. Now, when you switch the game engine, it's not. Now it's not going to be like NASCAR Heat 5. The menu system, the driving, even the graphics. That was the big worry. The big worry was really the graphics, right? With Unity engine, not the greatest. But if iRacing is going to change it up, if they're going to be trying to work on their own code, this is going to be something. And it's also one of the complaints I have about iRacing. iRacing's code is from 2008. iRacing's code is a little bit wonky in some ways. You can see it's really good, but in other ways you can see it's a little bit outdated when you look at some of the features. Like, for example, the black flag system in iRacing makes me want to drive my head into a wall, and you can't really change much of it because it is just baked into the code of the service. So these things are going to change. That is the best news, guys. If you are excited, or if you were a little bit hesitant, but excited, that's where I would put myself. I was like, guys, calm down, let's relax, let's not get overhyped. I don't know how much they can really do with this. Now this is going to be my stupid camera, damn it. How long has my camera been shaking? Stop shaking. I know we are all excited. Okay, there we go. Now you want to get excited. You have iRacing, who I believe will take great care of this license, and now they are exploring a different game engine for the console games. This is going to be different. It's going to be different from World of Outlaws or the Tony Stewart games, which was mainly monster games with iRacing looking above. Now, with this, it's iRacing really working together with monster games, and the two of them are going to really work on this and figure this out and see what they can do to make a AAA NASCAR game similar to something that Codemasters does with Formula 1. And I want to make clear what Codemasters did with Formula 1, not what they're doing right now, because that's not Codemasters. That's EA. What you see with Formula 1 now is EA. It's not Codemasters' fault that they're not improving on the game. It's not Codemasters' fault that there's a bunch of microtransactions and furniture and all that stuff that are in the game now. That's not Codemasters' fault. That's EA. What Codemasters did from 2010 to 2019, 2020, 2021, all that was all Codemasters, and that was awesome, and you saw that progression. Now, unfortunately, EA have stepped in and kind of taken over the helm there, but iRacing, as long as they stay independent, that is not going to happen to them, and I'm very, very excited. Guys, you want to be super excited for this. That is the biggest news out of everything here. We've proven at iRacing as a company that we're going to take our time and do things right, way as opposed to rushing something out just to collect our 60, 70 bucks. To be fair, Steve Myers, to be fair, you guys haven't really released many console games. You've released one, okay? So I don't want to. You don't have really the proof yet. When it comes to iRacing's very expensive, okay? It costs basically $14 for a track and $11 or $14 for a car. And there's like hundreds of them. So let's not say that iRacing is, you're not going to collect your money. Like, it's expensive, okay? iRacing is extremely expensive. When it comes to the console side of things, yes, you haven't done microtransactions, stuff like that. But this is just my opinion. I would not mind if iRacing threw in cosmetic microtransactions like suits, helmet stuff, emotes for an avatar. This kind of stuff, if you want to make a little bit extra money from it, I'm completely okay with. It's a business. You need that money. Like, just selling a game for 60 or 70 bucks and that's it, unfortunately, when it comes to AAA gaming, is not going to give you enough in order to make better games. I don't want you to make it pay to win, but for cosmetic stuff, simple, small stuff, $3 here, $2 there, $4 there, for these minor stuff that I don't have to buy, and that doesn't affect the experience for me on the game. It's just cool little cosmetic things. I'm completely okay with that. Like, and I'm sure, what are you okay with it? I'm okay with it. Are you guys okay with it? Because I want iRacing to make a little bit more money from the console side, so that money can be developed back. I trust them. I trust them that they're not just going to scam you and put in like an ultimate team mode or something like that, right? I don't think that's going to happen with them. Cosmetic things, just do it. It's okay. Like, if you want to make that little bit extra money so that way you can make better games, I will support. I will be there. As long as you give me the reason to trust you and to do that. We are going to put something out the right way. It won't be incomplete. It basically just sounds like they're taking shots at motorsport games, because motorsport games, the game was incomplete. There's a lot of technical lingo here, under the hood, video game stuff that Myers knows they need to get right to make the polished product, but he also has a general experience of what he wants to deliver to casual and hardcore fans alike. Video games based on sports have become increasingly sim-based in their presentation and experience over the past 15 years. Not really. Not really. For example, players can create their own athletes in games like Madden, MLB, or even Codemasters, and progress them from minor leagues to playing on Sundays. iRacing takes that to the next level in that players start off in a Legends car, stock car, Mazda MX before working their way up to NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA sanctioned cars. But again, iRacing is not really a career mode. They are working on one though, so we'll see how that kind of goes. So how does Myers intend to take those simulation elements, especially considering they already operate the product, but blend them with something that is inherently a console product for a more casual consumer? And Myers said you do have to kind of take a wider approach. Like, first of all, you develop the game with the gamepad in mind, right? That is a big difference. And that's the thing. They're going to have to learn this, guys. Like, iRacing, everything's a wheel, right? When I play a console game, I'm using a controller because I'm enough with the wheel. It's enough. I'm on iRacing enough with the wheel. I don't want to also use a wheel for the console game. The wheel and everything is pure sim. I'm leaving that on the iRacing side. When I want to play a console game, I want to use a controller because I can flip the camera around easily. I can change cameras quicker. I can look around, have more fun. Like, that's just my opinion when it comes to the gamepad. And that's something they're going to have to work on, is making sure that a stock car with a wheel and a gamepad are also similar. That they don't, it's not faster on a wheel than the gamepad, because then your hardcore fans are going to get mad because everyone's going to have to use a wheel instead of a gamepad. You also have to make sure that the difference between the wheel and the gamepad are very, very close. Like, it's not going to be identical. For example, NASCAR 9, if you had a wheel at Daytona, you were way better than a gamepad at Daytona because you could hold a steadier line. Okay, so it's just a simple minor stuff like that. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's an approach that they have recent experience with, and yes, World of Outlaws is a good game, so that's why I don't feel like they're going to have too much trouble with it. It'll do okay. That isn't to say there isn't a place for steering wheel-based online lobbies or spaces for consumers who prefer a steering wheel, but that isn't going to be the core focus of the next-gen NASCAR console game because iRacing already caters to that demographic. That's exactly my point. Exactly my point. Because you can't take that approach. You can't make a true sim and be something that you can drive with a gaming pad. It's just not possible. And he's right. He's right. So that's why this is really good messaging from Steve, because this is exactly what I want. A simcade. Guys, you have your sim in iRacing. Let's make this a simcade. I think Steve Myers knows. What they want to do is right. It's just executing that. And that's going to be very hard. So we'll see how they do. Like we know from doing this from 20 to 30 years, it takes a different approach when you do a console game. But you have to ask ourselves questions like, how do we make authentic, but also something you can enjoy with a gamepad? For example, NR 2003 is not very enjoyable with a gamepad. You can do it, but it's clearly better with a wheel. So you can't have that situation with the new console game. But I feel very confident that we will deliver that. The rest of the stuff, the emergent stuff, that's going to be the stuff we build upon, because those are the things that iRacing doesn't have. It doesn't have a lot of animation, cutscenes, and stuff like that. Career mode. Guys, they have... This is why I'm so excited, because I trust iRacing and they know what they want to do. It's just about the execution. I don't need a full-blown sim for this game. They know what they want to do. This is going to be really fun, honestly. If this sounds broad, it's because it is within the context that it's so early in the project development phase. Myers doesn't have a lot of plans set in stone. By the time of this conversation, he was roaming the garage at Roval, having conversations with industry people and fans alike. If I had to take a guess, they're probably 6 months in. If I had to take a guess, they're 6 months into the process. Still pre-development phase and stuff like that. Which is why that February 2025 target that I was hoping for, nah. I think it's probably closer to September. And if anything, you can delay it to 2026 February if need be. Like, I'll be okay with that. Just take your time. Make sure the game's good. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a longtime supporter of Papyrus and iRacing, having raced both on platforms in his teenage years before he even stepped foot in a real race car. He once infamously racked up a $420 phone bill while living with his brother because he was on NASCAR racing. Yep, it's Earnhardt obviously knows that. Just ask Earnhardt, it'll be okay. I have been in conversation with the iRacing about their vision, and it's absolutely what you would expect. Earnhardt said last week on his Dale Jr. Download podcast. There's some realism, but the console side of it has to appeal to a very general, wide audience, so I think they're going to nail the target. Myers said the plan is to take the iRacing experience, transform it into something more casual and consumable. I think that's what's nice about doing console games, that you're taking a smaller bite, because this is the box that you're going to live in. That allows us as a company to kind of really make sure you deliver on the authentics and hit the demographics that you want to hit. Again, I think with iRacing, we proved that we can start people in a Legends car street stock and give them a taste of what oval racing is like, and then build up to higher levels. Dirt to Daytona, guys, expect it. It goes back to the goal of providing Dirt to Daytona style experience. Again, expect it. And then I laugh when I think back in my time at Papyrus, because we did the absolute worst thing we could do as a new fan of the sport, and they threw them into an 800 horsepower stock car. Again, yeah, I remember my first time playing NR 2003, and I just kept wrecking. It was a tutorial at Michigan, right? I think it was the tutorial at Michigan. They just threw me in the stock car, and I just kept crashing because I couldn't drive the freaking car. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this time around. They're going to start from the bottom, and you're going to go up. So they said it was Charlotte. I thought it was Michigan. I don't know. This is like 13 years ago, guys. I don't remember, but I thought I was doing a tutorial at Michigan. I don't remember. Myers is excited to begin thinking about like the fantasy features, like a Daytona Beach Street course, a 3-mile Coke Speedway, which is now iRacing Speedway, all this fantasy stuff. Myers is excited, but again, that will come after. So it's those kind of features, but is adamant that it comes well after they build a quality product, which is exactly what they should do. Again, those type of extra features, guys, don't say you don't want it. So like when iRacing comes to you, or NASCAR comes to you, or whatever, or I ask you in the comments, don't say you don't want it, but add the context of, I know this can't happen right away, but make sure it's on the path. Because that's what they need. Right now, we're in the general design phase, and we're starting from a place wanting to get that core functionality figured out first, and then everything else becomes icing on the cake. Yep. The thing is that we just don't view this as a 2025 title. It's like how many things can be accomplished across that timeline. It's a very big process, but again, we're starting at the same place we did with World of Outlaws, and we'll have the same approach. We'll start with the core functionality, and once we get that right, then add the fun layers. And that is that. That is Matt Weaver. Thank you for the article, Matt, and thank you to Steve Myers for that. It has relaxed me. I am relaxed, guys. This has been a very long video. I've been recording for way too long. I'm relaxed. I'm calm. I'm really excited, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. Guys, comment down below. What do you guys think about this massive news that it's not going to be the Unity engine? It's going to be their own thing. Whether they use another game engine that is already out there, or iRacing is going to work on their own code, kind of merge some things, figure it out, and create a new engine for them that they could use specifically and to work on. So what will it be? Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Follow me on Twitter if you're not already. Subscribe for new. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.